Good morning, everyone. Let's talk about this thing called fear. I recently have become a big follower and somewhat obsessed, you might say, over the last few days with this guy who broke world records, shattered them, really, scaling this wall in Yosemite. He's a free soloist, something like that. Anyways, I'm not a rock climbing expert, but I've learned a little bit about it, and basically soloists go up not only by themselves, but they go up without equipment. A free soloist, and so no ropes, no hooks. I don't even know what the words are. It's just your shoes, a bag of chalk, and your hands and feet, and your skills, and your courage. Oh my gosh! So El Capitan is this face in one of the mountains in Yosemite. It's a sheer cliff. It's almost 3,000 feet up, and some of the climb, I kid you not, as I was reading the article, that I just about fell off my chair. Little edges that he's hanging on to, no greater than the width of a pencil. Can you imagine being, I think that leg of the journey was about 2,700 feet up, but gosh, even 20 feet up, are you kidding me? He's hanging on little teeny lips in the side of a sheer cliff, no wider than the width of a pencil, and no ropes and no safety gear, nothing. Not even a helmet. National Geographic filmed the whole thing. They're doing a documentary. I can't wait to see it. Why do I say all this? This gentleman's name was Michael Hammond? Something, I might be saying that wrong, and I apologize if I am. He has been, obsessed with rock climbing since he was a little kid. He figured out early what he wanted to do with his life. It became an obsession for him, and he's been doing it for many, many years. Well, get this. Back in 1958, the first group to scale the face of this mountain was led by a team of 4, and it took them 28 days, I believe it was, 27 or 28 days to get to the top. So they're camping out all along the way to scale 2,900 feet to the top of El Capitan. They have all the gear, all the fancy gear that they had made back in 1958, but they had everything, food and all the provisions and supplies and everything that they needed to get up the mountain in almost a month. Okay, it took 4 people working together. Now, when you have a team of 4 people working together, there's a couple of things that happens. Not only, one is you can all split and carry gear, so you can carry up a lot more. But number 2, I think even more important is that mental game. When you're with other people, there's a strength that comes and a security that comes. Well, if something happens to me, my comrade can help bail me out. He can help me get up, or he can help hoist me up, or if I need some first aid, someone can come to my side and help me, etc., right? When you're a soloist, you are on your own. I don't say that from experience. I say that because I'm just thinking through it, and it freaks me out a little bit. I can't imagine what it would be like to face that challenge for Michael Hammond. I'll get it. Anyways, the guy must be insanely courageous. Now they did some scans on his brain, because these scientists, I can just imagine them, walking around their little white lab coats and holding clipboards and looking at each other, glasses, the pocket protectors, things sticking out right here, their name embroidered, Dr. Johnson, just walking around. I'm going to study fear. And they did some MRIs on this guy's brain, and they did some tests and ran some things that would normally simulate that part of the brain that says this is scary, and it injects or it gives you the feeling of fear, which holds you back, which makes you hesitate or not want to do something, or those types of reactions. Anyways, there's that little place in the brain that does that, and they did some testing him against a normal rock climber. I don't know what a normal rock climber is, but they obviously had it figured out, and they compared the two, and this guy, Michael, had absolutely zero activity during these tests. Nothing showed up, zero. And it just baffled them. They'd never seen anything like it. What it got me thinking was not that, well, first of all, he's a phenomenon. I don't know if he was just lucky to be born without this idea of fear when it comes to rock climbing. He gets nervous about other things like speaking in public or whatever, little things. But when it comes to rock climbing and heights and the idea of scaling 2,900 feet without any safety gear by yourself, no fear, nothing. So the first group to do it back in 1958 did it in 28 days. Michael did it by himself, mind you, no gear, less than 4 hours. Okay, less than 4 hours. If you haven't seen it in the news, you ought to Google search it and read the story. It's absolutely phenomenal. So how does that happen? Well, I guess the main thing that I draw out of this is no fear. Fear is a major obstacle that holds so much of us back. And just look at what can happen when someone doesn't have fear. The laboratory results and all that showed that he didn't respond. His brain just sat there. It didn't have any response to the stimuli. And it was unconventional. I guess, I don't know if nobody has ever done that before. They were expecting, smaller levels of response and this and that, not zero response. So it shocked them. But what it teaches me is, gosh, what happens in our lives when we remove fear? When we say, you know what, that's stupid. I'm going to stop worrying about that. I'm going to stop being afraid of that. And I'm just going to go do it. Now, you don't have to go scale a 3,000 foot cliff. Maybe what's holding you back is fear of public speaking, or fear of leaving your job, or fear of stepping out, doing something different. Well, probably what you're afraid of is nowhere nearly as dangerous as the fear that Michael faced as he scaled that. You know what? His name's Alex, not Michael. Oh my gosh. That's awful. I just realized. I don't know why I call him Michael. Alex Honnold. That's his name. Anyway, so the fear that you face is probably nowhere near the fear that Alex or somebody like Alex should face. I guess Alex doesn't have it, but other people do. And it holds them back, and it holds you back. What goals do you have? What are you trying to achieve? The acronym, we've all heard this, fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. It's a smoke screen, really. Now, the vast majority of our fears are not like physically dangerous type of things. Now, if you're a rock climber, yeah, probably. If you skydive, you might be facing some weird tricks that are very, very dangerous that could put your life in danger. And yeah, okay, so there's a physical danger there that's associated with your fear. But most of us, our fears are just smoke screens. We're afraid of what other people will think of us, or we're afraid of what someone might say if they see me do that, or we're afraid of tarnishing our reputation, or we're afraid that if we put ourselves out there and we fail, someone will laugh at us. So many of our fears are rooted in these things that don't matter, because we care so much about what other people think of us, and that stops us. But just look at what can happen. The example of Alex Honnold. When you remove fear from the equation, human beings really can perform miracles. I mean, this is fantastically unheard of. It was just like when Roger Bannister first ran the 4-minute mile. The doctors had told him it was physically impossible. Physically impossible. He would die. Literally, he would die if he ran the 4-minute mile. As soon as he broke the barrier, that same year, I think there were 20-something other people that broke the 4-minute mile as well. It was a mental barrier more than it was a physical barrier. Okay, how many mental barriers do you have in your life? Or what mental barriers are you facing that are just holding you back? And how long will you hide behind them, or you stand behind them before you finally say, you know what? enough is enough. I'm going to step out and I'm going to do something, and I'm not going to worry about failure. I'm not going to worry about my stupid fears because they're false evidence appearing real. It's a smoke screen. And I'm not going to worry about what anybody else thinks, because who cares what they think? They can stand behind their fears and hold themselves back. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because it's my life and I'm going to own it, and I don't care what other people think. I'm going to stop worrying about what other people think. When will you get to that point? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Okay. I have an appointment coming up, and my phone just told me about it. Anyways, so that's the thought for the day. Fear is it's such an interesting thing to study because it's so full of it's so lacking substance. Most of it's made up, honestly and truly. Most of it is something that we fabricate inside of our minds and we hide behind. And it holds us back. And if you've got some reason that's holding you back, take a look at it and dig down deep and ask yourself why, about 6 or 8 or 10 levels deep. Why? Why is this important? What does it matter to me? Who cares? What happens if that? Why does it matter? And then what does it matter, or what does it mean if I overcome that? What is significant about me overcoming my fear and achieving my goal? Why does that matter? The positive side. Ask yourselves these questions. And come on and comment. Let me know what you think about fear, what you've done to face your fears and help overcome the obstacles that are in your path to achieving your goals. Love to hear comments. Talk to you soon.